Hey, Glider here. Today we're going to be talking about the web scraping glossary, essential terms every scraper should know. This is a topic that comes up a lot, and I wanted to give you the most complete guide possible. So without further ado, let's get started. This glossary covers the essential terminology you need to understand when building scrapers, collecting data, and navigating the technical landscape of automated data extraction, from basic concepts like parsing and crawling to advanced techniques like headless browser automation. Every term is clearly defined with practical context. Whether you're writing your first scraping script or scaling enterprise data pipelines, this glossary is your go-to reference. Let's start with core web scraping terms. Web scraping is the automated process of extracting data from websites using software tools or scripts. It converts unstructured web content into structured, machine-readable data for analysis, monitoring, or integration. A web crawler, also known as a spider or bot, is an automated program that systematically browses the web by following links from page to page. Unlike scrapers that extract specific data, crawlers focus on discovering and indexing pages. Google's crawler, Googlebot, is the most well-known example. A scraper is a tool or script designed to extract specific data from web pages. Scrapers target particular elements like prices, reviews, or contact info, rather than indexing entire sites. Data extraction is the process of pulling specific data points from web pages, APIs, or documents. This includes identifying target elements, retrieving their content, and outputting structured data. Data parsing means converting raw, unstructured data like HTML, JSON, or XML into a structured format suitable for analysis or storage. Parsing is a critical post-extraction step. Now let's move into HTML and page structure terms. HTML, or hypertext markup language, is the standard markup language for web pages. Scrapers parse HTML to locate and extract data from specific elements like headings, tables, and lists. The DOM, or Document Object Model, is a programming interface that represents HTML documents as a tree structure. JavaScript-based scrapers interact with the DOM to extract dynamically rendered content. A CSS selector is a pattern used to select and target specific HTML elements based on their class, ID, tag name, or attributes. Scrapers use CSS selectors to pinpoint data elements. XApp is a query language for selecting nodes in XML or HTML documents. It's more powerful than CSS selectors for complex element selection. A regular expression, or regex, is a sequence of characters defining a search pattern. It's used in scraping to extract data matching specific patterns like emails, phone numbers, or URLs. Now let's cover HTTP and networking terms. An HTTP request is a message sent from a client to a server requesting a resource. Web scraping fundamentally involves sending HTTP requests and processing responses. An HTTP response is the server's reply to an HTTP request containing status codes, headers, and body content, usually HTML, JSON, or XML. HTTP status codes are 3-digit numbers indicating the result of an HTTP request. For example, 200 means success, 403 means forbidden, 404 means not found, and 429 means too many requests. Headers are metadata sent with HTTP requests and responses. Important scraping headers include user agent, accept language, referrer, and cookie. A user agent is a string identifying the client software making a request. Rotating user agents help scrapers mimic different browsers and avoid detection. Rate limiting refers to server-side restrictions on the number of requests a client can make within a time window. Exceeding rate limits triggers 429 errors or IP bans. Throttling means intentionally slowing down request frequency to respect server resources and avoid triggering rate limits or bans. Now let's get into proxy and IP management. A proxy server is an intermediary server that routes web requests on behalf of the client, masking the client's real IP address. It's essential for large-scale scraping. IP rotation means automatically switching between different proxy IP addresses for successive requests to distribute load and avoid detection. A residential proxy uses IP addresses assigned by ISPs to real households. Residential proxies are harder for websites to detect and block. A data center proxy uses IP addresses from cloud or data center providers. They're faster and cheaper than residential proxies but more easily detected. A sticky session is a proxy session that maintains the same IP address for a defined period, which is necessary for multi-step scraping operations like login flows. Next up is browser automation. A headless browser is a web browser without a graphical user interface, controlled programmatically. It's used to scrape JavaScript rendered content that doesn't appear in raw HTML. Puppeteer is a Node.js library providing a high-level API to control Chrome or Chromium. It's widely used for scraping dynamic websites. Playwright is a cross-browser automation framework by Microsoft supporting Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. It's increasingly popular for scraping due to its robust API. Selenium is a browser automation framework originally designed for testing but commonly used for web scraping JavaScript-heavy sites. It supports multiple languages and browsers. Browser fingerprinting is when websites collect unique browser attributes like canvas rendering, WebGL capabilities, and installed fonts to identify and track visitors even when IPs change. Now let's talk about anti-bot in detection terms. A CAPTCHA is a challenge response test designed to distinguish humans from bots. Common types include reCAPTCHA, HCAPTCHA, and image-based challenges. A CAPTCHA solving service is a third-party service that solves CAPTCHAs using human workers or AI. Services like QCAPTCHA and anti-CAPTCHA integrate with scraping pipelines. Bot detection refers to systems that identify automated traffic through behavioral analysis, fingerprinting, and request pattern analysis. Cloudflare, Akamai, and Datadome are major providers. A honeypot consists of hidden links or form fields invisible to human users but followed or filled by bots. Websites use honeypots to trap and identify scrapers. Robots.txt is a text file at a website's root directory specifying which pages crawlers may or may not access. Ethical scrapers respect robots.txt directives. A WAF or web application firewall is security software that filters and monitors HTTP traffic. WAFs like Cloudflare and AWS WAF can block scraping attempts. Now for data storage and processing terms. JSON or JavaScript object notation is a lightweight data interchange format. It's the most common output format for scraped data and API responses. CSV or comma-separated values is a simple file format for tabular data where values are separated by commas. It's popular for storing scraped data in spreadsheet-compatible format. A database is a structured collection of data stored electronically. Scraped data is commonly stored in SQL databases like Postgres or MySQL, or NoSQL databases like MongoDB. ETL stands for extract, transform, load. It's a data pipeline process where you extract data from sources through scraping, transform it into the desired format through parsing or cleaning, and load it into a destination like a database or warehouse. Data cleaning is the process of detecting and correcting errors, inconsistencies, and duplicates in scraped data. It's a critical step before analysis. Deduplication means removing duplicate records from scraped data. It's essential when scraping paginated content or running recurring scraping jobs. Let's cover scraping frameworks and libraries. BeautifulSoup is a Python library for parsing HTML and XML documents. It's known for its simplicity and is often the first tool beginners learn. Scrapy is a comprehensive Python web scraping framework with built-in support for following links, handling pagination, proxy rotation, and data pipelines. lxml is a high-performance Python library for processing XML and HTML. It's faster than Bastapy for large-scale parsing tasks. Cheerio is a fast, lightweight Node.js library for parsing and manipulating HTML. It provides a jQuery-like API for server-side scraping. And finally, some advanced concepts. API scraping means extracting data from web APIs rather than HTML pages. It's often more efficient and structured than HTML scraping. Migidation is the practice of splitting content across multiple pages. Scrapers must handle pagination to collect complete datasets. Infinite scroll is a web design pattern where content loads continuously as the user scrolls down. It requires JavaScript rendering to scrape. Dynamic content is web content generated by JavaScript after the initial page load. It cannot be scraped with simple HTTP requests and requires browser automation. SPA, or single-page application, refers to web applications that load a single HTML page and dynamically update content using JavaScript. React, Vue, and Angular apps are common SPAs. Concurrent scraping means running multiple scraping requests simultaneously using threads, processes, or async I/O to increase throughput. Distributed scraping means spreading scraping workload across multiple machines or servers for massive scale data collection. Incremental scraping means only scraping new or changed content since the last scraping run, reducing bandwidth and processing requirements. Now for some frequently asked questions. What programming language is best for web scraping? Python is the most popular choice due to libraries like BeautifulSoup, Scrapy, and Selenium. JavaScript with Node.js is a strong alternative with Puppeteer and Playwright. The best choice depends on your existing skills and project requirements. Is web scraping legal? Web scraping legality depends on jurisdiction, the website's terms of service, the type of data collected, and how it's used. Public data is generally scrapable, but personal data may be subject to GDPR, CCPA, or other privacy regulations. Always consult legal counsel for commercial scraping operations. What's the difference between web scraping and web crawling? Web crawling discovers and indexes pages by following links across a website or the entire web. Web scraping extracts specific data from those pages. Crawling is about discovery, while scraping is about extraction. Many projects combine both. Do I need proxies for web scraping? For small-scale scraping with just a few hundred requests, proxies may not be necessary. For large-scale operations, proxies are essential to avoid IP bans, bypass rate limits, and access geo-restricted content. How do I handle JavaScript rendered content? Use headless browsers like Puppeteer, Playwright, or Selenium to render JavaScript before extracting data. Alternatively, check if the site's data is available through API endpoints, which is often faster and more reliable than browser-based scraping. So there you have it, a complete breakdown of the web scraping glossary with essential terms every scraper should know. Remember, the key is to start implementing what you've learned and keep refining your approach over time. For more guides like this one, visit us at dataresearchtools.com. We're constantly putting out new content to help you stay ahead of the curve. See you in the next one.